let us see some operations on strings today. So there are different operations we can perform on strings, like we can add two strings. We can add one string to other string. Like that, we can compare one string with other string, or we can calculate the number of characters in a given string. Like that, we can perform different operations on strings. Let us see one by one. So first operation we can perform is string comparison. So we want to compare two given strings, whether those two strings are having equal characters or not. So for that, we can see the segment code like this. So let us see this program segment code. This code determines the task that given two strings, whether they are having the same characters in their string or not. So this should calculate, this should compare these two given strings, each character by character one by one, and it should determine whether those given two strings are same or different. So now let us see, first string 1, string 2 are given. Those are having some characters in their strings. Let us assume that there are initialized two strings. Now this while condition is having, there are three conditions, 1, 2, 3. So if we observe the condition in this while loop, first condition is string 1 is compared with string 2. So here this is the relational operator or comparison operator, and this is also comparison operator, and this is one comparison operator. So there are three relational or comparison operators like that. So those are giving whether true condition or false condition. And we are having, along with these three, we are having two logical AND operators. So we know the operation of logical AND, whether if all the conditions are true, the logical AND operation result will be true. If any one of these three conditions results into the false condition, then the total logical AND result will be false. So all these three conditions should be true for the total condition in the while loop to be true. So first we have to check individual three combinations, and these three conditions, if they are true conditions, then only the while loop executes. So in this while loop we are having only single statement increment of this I. So initially let us assume that I value 0. So string of 0, string 1 of 0 is equal to string 2 of 0. That means the first character in the string is equal to the first character in the string 2. If the first character is the same, then the next condition is string 1 of I not equal to this null character. So first condition is comparing the first character of these two strings. Next condition is whether this condition indicates whether the first string is end of string or not. That means if it is equal to null, string is completed. So this condition is indicating whether the string 1 is completed or not. Similarly, the third condition, string 2 not equal to null character. That means this condition determines whether string 2 is having end of string or not. So first comparing the individual characters of the string, and the second one comparing both strings whether they are ending or not. So totally these three are the conditions in this while loop. So after these three conditions resulting into a true condition, then this I value will be incremented. So if I value is increased, this condition will go to the next character in the individual strings. So for I is equal to 0, first element of two strings will be compared, and similarly for I is equal to 1, second character will be compared. If that is also same, then it will check the end of the strings, and for I is equal to 2, 3 and so on, until any one of the string is ending, this loop executes repeatedly. So after the ending of the total condition while loop, we have to check whether string 1 is equal to null character and string 2 is also having null character. So if this condition is true, observe that here we are having again logical AND operation. This is having again two comparison or relational operators. If these two conditions are true, that means this condition is showing first string is ending, and this condition is showing that second string is ending. If both strings are ending, so this while loop is execution completed. After that, if both strings are ending, that means both are coming to the null character at the same iteration. I means this condition is repeatedly same. That means all the individual characters in both strings are same. In that condition only, both strings having null character at the same value of I. So that indicates both strings are having same characters in it, so that the printf line, this is printed on the screen, so that the same strings are given. So two strings are given. In this loop we are comparing the individual characters and checking parallelly at each iteration whether any one of the string ends, and finally we are comparing both strings whether both are coming to the null character at the same time or at the same iteration value of I or not. If both are coming at the same time and giving the null character at the same iteration value, obviously the both strings given are same string. Otherwise, if this condition fails, then else condition will be printed, that is the given two strings are not same. So that is different. Like that we can compare the given two strings by using the program segment code. Alternatively, we will have one string function to perform this same task, that is string comparison operation. So we have one function like this to compare the given two strings. So strcmp. So this function having two parameters, string 1, string 2. So these two strings are compared by using this string comparison function. So this is already defined function, and it is having the two parameters, string 1 and string 2. It compares each and every character one by one, and it will give some result if both given strings are same. This function results into 0 value. If both strings are different, this function returns a value that is equal to ASCII value of string 1 minus ASCII value of string 2. Observe that here the value is these two strings are having different characters we are assuming. In such cases, this result value will be the difference between the first string character and second string character, which is the first mismatching character in these two strings. For example, we are taking string 1 as good, and we are taking string 2 as going. So we are having these two strings we are given, and we given to the parameters of string comparison function these two strings which are having good and going in these two strings. Then this function compares first the first character G, both are same, it will go to the second character O, both are same, and it will go to the next character. Here in the first string it is O, and the second string it is I. So there is a mismatch in these two characters of these two strings. So this mismatch means immediately this function will give the value, the difference of ASCII value of this O and ASCII value of this I. So the value here it is ASCII value of O minus ASCII value of I. We know the ASCII values of individual alphabets, so it is a numerical value. This minus this is the ultimate value of this string comparison function whenever there is a mismatch between the characters of these two given strings. Like that we can compare the given two strings if they are same or different by using the function string comparison. So it is having two parameters, the given two strings, both will be compared. If the result is given is 0, that means the same strings are given. If it is having some non-zero value, obviously the given two strings are different. Like that we have already built-in function string comparison to perform the string comparison operation. So here we have one more facility with this function is we can use this function like string 1 is compared with a string constant like this. Observe, the string variable is compared with the string constant here. So there is some characters in string 1. Let us assume that string 1 is having going now. It is compared with this string constant. Here it is a string constant good. So this is compared with good. So we have the facility with the string comparison function like string 1 is having going, and we are comparing with a string constant which is good. So obviously the same operation will be performed like first characters are compared, G same, second character compared, O same, third character will be different, a mismatch is there in these two characters. So ASCII value of I minus ASCII value of O will be the result of this function. Like that we can use string value and string constant as the parameters of this string comparison function. Right.